What's up, YouTube? This is Game on Cloud 9 here, and this is an Avatar: The Legend of Korra Episode 3 review. Let me just start off by saying that this was a really good episode. I enjoyed it, much more actually than Episode 1 and 2. Not saying that Episode 1 and 2 was bad, because it was really good, but actually being able to see the Equalists really do something in this episode, because they were introduced, I believe, in Episode 2, but they didn't really show any of their abilities. We didn't really find out anything about them exactly, so, and finally we're learning more about them. They demonstrated a lot of their abilities in today's episode, so yeah, I really enjoyed it. We even found out a little bit, of course, about Mako, Bolin, and a little bit about their past. I'm pretty sure we're going to learn more and more as the series goes on, but getting to know them a little bit more is pretty cool. But anyway, the episode started off, of course, with us seeing Korra, Mako, and Bolin basically practice and training in the morning, for their professional bending matches, because they have a tournament coming up. And this guy, who I think he's supposed to be the whole boss of the professional bending league, he comes up to pay them, give them their money from their wins and stuff. And basically, he might as well not even giving it to them, because he ends up taking it right back, because he's saying that they owe him for all these different expenses. And then, not only that, but he ends up saying that they owe him additional money. So they, Mako and Bolin actually end up asking Korra, like, does she have any money? And she's like, no, I don't have any money. I've never had to carry any money or earn any money, because I've always had people taking care of me, which it makes sense, because we've seen that basically in Episode 1, how they didn't even really want her to leave the Southern Water Tribe village that she was at. So yeah, that really explains something, that why she wouldn't have anything. But Mako kind of gets a little upset about that when she had, hearing that she had people taking care of her whole life. Which makes sense, because we end up later on in the episode finding out that Mako and Bolin were orphans, and they basically had to take care of, basically take care of each other for, since they were young. So, they've actually done work for the Triple Triads, which of course is the group that we saw in the first episode that Korra ended up fighting against. The water, I think it was like, one of the guys was a waterbender, the other one was like a firebender. Can't remember, I know there was 3 guys. I don't remember what the third guy could do, but, the guys that Korra was fighting against, they were part of the Triple Triads, and basically they've done work for them before, and to earn money and to do different things. And actually Mako, not Mako, but Bolin, later on we see him standing around at I guess you could say this square, where he's basically trying to earn money with I can't remember the little ferret that they have. I guess it's probably what their team is named after, so I'm gonna just say the fire ferret. I can't remember what its name is. And they're trying to earn money, because he says he taught him a few tricks and stuff. So, Bolin, actually ends up, guess you could say, getting captured by the Triple Triads, or not exactly getting captured. He is going to go do work for them, but he gets the Triple Triads, Triple Threat Triads actually get caught by the Equalists. And the Equalists basically, are of course the ones who block chi points. Like I said earlier, they're the main villains of this. And we end up seeing Mako later on in the episode end up trying to find out where Bolin is at, because it's getting late. So he ends up asking Korra where she's at. Where he's at. And of course, Korra doesn't really know, but she offers to help Mako. And Mako ends up, Mako and Korra end up looking all over the town, all over the night, and they end up finally finding out where he's at. And basically the Equalists are kind of, running away on their motorcycles with Bolin and some of the other Triple Triad members. And Korra and Mako go on this chase after them and end up getting into a fight. Now, when that happened, I enjoyed that fight so much, because, seriously, seeing like their hand-to-hand combat abilities, I'm like, man, why did Sokka in the first Avatar series not fight like that? Not actually. You see them just dodging stuff, jumping, like doing all these flips and tricks, and I'm thinking, like, really? Come on now. Sokka, he should have been able to do something like that in the first series. He had his sword, but it wasn't anything, like, he wasn't even, in my opinion, that sweet with it. Like, it was just kind of like he would just swing it around, kind of. And it wasn't like, he wasn't able to really fight like top tier people. I'm not saying that Korra, even though she knows 3 elements, I guess technically she'd be top tier in Avatar world. eventually she would be because she is the Avatar. But I'm like, I don't know, I just kind of feel as though that I'm like, they could have made some of the people in the first Avatar series fight like this, but you know, that's just my opinion. But yeah, they end up getting actually beat up by the Equalists, and they block their chi points and all that kind of stuff, so they can't bend temporarily. So they have to end up figuring out another way to find out where the Equalists are so they can get Bolin back. And they end up going to this stand, of course, that we saw in episode 1, where there, you know, there's this guy who basically, he's in the park, he tries to protest against benders, and he's for the Equalists and stuff. They find out from him where they're having, the Equalists are having a meeting. So, of course, Korra and Mako end up sneaking into the meeting. They find out where it's at. They go in and basically end up finally seeing Amon and seeing, you know, what Amon can do, because Amon actually shows off some of his abilities against the leader of the Triple Threat Triads. So the leader of the Triple Threat Triads, he's a firebender. He's coming up trying to firebend and use his lightning against Amon, and Amon's just dodging it and basically ends up blocking his chi points, and then proceeds to actually take his bending away. And that is probably the coolest thing, because it's like Aang had that ability. We saw him use that on the Fire Lord in the beginning of the, well, not the beginning, at the end of the first Avatar. And Amon can do it. We don't even know how he got that ability. And I actually thought of something. I was thinking, what if that ability, there's more you can do with it? Not just take away a person's bending, and this is just kind of out there, guys. But what if Amon actually, when he took somebody's bending, he can actually steal it? Because we wouldn't have necessarily saw that from Aang, because Aang already possessed all of the elements. So it wouldn't have made a difference if he took the Fire Lord's bending away and gained his fire bending, because he already was a firebender. But what if Amon later on actually shows some abilities of a bender? Like, since he took the, he actually, you know, took away the bending of that firebender, what if he's able to use firebending? And if he takes away the bending of a waterbender, he can use waterbending. That would essentially make him like an avatar. Just not, you know, like with the reincarnations in the cycle. So I'm wondering if maybe that's going to happen later on. Maybe he's going to start doing something like that, or show off some kind of ability like that. Because we all know that with you know, different bending abilities, since this is called energy bending, think about like with fire, how there's like different subcategories. How if you're a firebender, you can use lightning. If you're a earthbender, you can use sand bending, or you can use metal bending. And, you know, water bending, you can make ice. And air bending, we haven't really got any subcategories for that yet. But, hey, I wouldn't be surprised if we did eventually. So I'm wondering maybe energy building could have that kind of category where somebody can essentially become like their own avatar. I mean, that's just a theory of mine. I mean, they may not go in that direction because, of course, I mean, he's against bending. So why would he become a bender himself? But, you know, I could see something like that happening in, like, a final battle or something, maybe, like, way later on, like, down the line. But yeah, Amon, basically he's stealing the bending from all the different benders that he had up on the stage. And, you know, of course, Bolin is getting scared because he's about to walk up there and, you know, have to face him. And then Korra and Mako basically end up saving him, because Korra ends up creating this mist to shield Bolin from Amon so that they won't be able to see him. And then Mako ends up saving him. Then they start to escape. And they end up getting into a fight with one of the Equalists, and he's just whooping Mako and Bolin. I mean, they look like, I mean, really, it looked like child's play almost. And it's like, really, I mean, they really have to approve their hand-to-hand combat abilities, not just their bending abilities, if you look at it, because he's dodging all their moves like it's nothing, and Korra has to come save them. So she knocks out that guy, and then they all get ready to try to chase after them while they're on, oh man, I can't remember what the name of the polar bear is, but Naga. Yeah, they're basically running away on Naga, and then Amon and some of the Equalists come out, and, you know, the Equalists were getting ready to chase after him, but Amon tells them, nah, you know, it'll be a good message for the city when they, when Korra basically lets everybody know what happened. So she ends up making it back to the island where Tenzin is at, and Tenzin was worried, you know, he hadn't seen her, didn't know where she went, and she basically tells him about Amon, and Amon, you know, I'm like, and Tenzin is like, you didn't even know that Amon could actually take away bending, and he's saying that everybody is in danger now who's a bender. And, you know, I'm like, to me, that was a good cliffhanger for this episode. I really do like this new villain and his abilities, because I used to feel like in the first Avatar series, with Aang, of course, that like Aang automatically had the advantage over the Fire Lord. Even though Fire Lord technically had more experience than Aang, he was older than Aang, you know, technically, because we know Aang was an iceberg and all that. But, you know, even though he was older than Aang and all that kind of stuff, and he, you know, was a great firebender, and Aang couldn't really firebend that well. He was just learning, and earthbending wasn't that great, and waterbending was pretty cool. And, you know, his I think his of course his air was excellent. But you know, I'm like, it kind of felt as though that, you know, I'm like, okay, Avatar state automatic win. Not much anybody can do. But now it's like, okay, you know, this new villain can actually take away your bending completely. He really feels like a threat. He really feels like, you know, if he gets his hands on you, you're finished. You know, not just in the sense of, oh, I can burn you or I can throw some rocks at you, but, you know, you cannot let him touch you. He can limit your powers. He can basically take them away from you. And that's why I like this new villain. But anyway, I hope you guys like this video. Please don't forget to rate this video. So if you liked it, thumbs up. If you did not like this video, then thumbs down. And don't forget to comment down in the comment section below. And if you like these videos, then please subscribe if you're interested in my channel. Anyway, have a nice day. See you.